everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. It is Thursday, February the 27th. We are live at the New York stock market afternoon session. Glad you can join us. Hope everybody's doing well.
I can't get it. I get stuff.
I posted it in the room, George. If you can click the link in the room, it should pop up for you.
Well, do you have a YouTube account?
Yes, I do. But I don't think you actually need a YouTube account.
You don't need to have a YouTube account.
Click the link in the room, George, and if you can click the link in the room, it should take you directly to the page, and then the rest of them should be on there. That should be the easiest way.
All right, so let me take a look at the news for today. And earlier today we had, this is the 27th, we had some GDP, unemployment, and durable goods, but mostly yellow news, but orange news or whatever. But
actually, yeah, volatility was extremely high from right around a little bit after 9 o'clock up until about 11 o'clock. There was a lot of volatility.
So, I mean, we had NVDA news, NVDA earnings from last night and so forth. So that might have been part of it.
Yep.
Unemployment and preliminary GDP might have had some bearings as well. All right, so a quick look at the US dollar on the bottom versus the euro on the top. And we have a strong US dollar currently in the short-term basis. I'm on the 15-minute chart here. So short-term strength in the US dollar. If I go to the hourly, you can see that indeed we do have strength on the hourly to the upside and the euro US dollar to the downside. So what it's basically saying is that you could play, since we have strength in the US dollar, and right now currently in the NAS, I'm making some nice profits here. So I'm going to just take a little something off this at this point. I haven't really looked at this. I know I have some targets way up top, but let me put a target in. So I was looking for a target of these highs here. See if we can get there. So right now on the NAS, I've got a beautiful 1, 2, 3 bottom that's set up. I'm on the 5-minute time frame, so we could see prices hitting this target no problem whatsoever. But we could even go much higher than that. Let me clear some of this stuff off. If I put the fibs on, see where this takes us. So 1.618 is here. So I could, certainly go much higher with this. 2.618 is up here. And looking at the 4-hour candles, these are 4-hour candles over here. The current candle opened here. This was the this is the 10 o'clock candle right now. That's just opened, and we had a little bit of a wick or tail. Just a very tiny little dip, and that's where I decided to take my entry because it just came on. And now looking for this candle now, the 4-hour candle, to continue pushing up. So right now, essentially, this 1, 2 is here, and this move, and now we're looking for that to continue pushing up to take out the highs of the 4-hour candle, which are up here. So I could actually put my target way up to the top.
That's going to take a good while.
That will take a while. I'll probably take the entire session, yeah. But that's totally plausible move. And
can I make a comment before you get too far?
Go ahead.
Marquis, I think you're also on TOS, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. If you were to get into this on TOS, your margin at this point, because volatility is so high, your margin is 4,800 $4,800. Normally it's $2,400. Whenever the margin goes up, whenever the volatility goes high, your margin doubles.
Oh, I
I
mostly
just
look
wanted
at
to make
the.
you aware of that in case you want to figure out, just hit the dashboard on the right-hand side.
I'll look into it, George. As long as the spread isn't ridiculous, I'm usually good.
Yeah, okay. The spread is
But
fine.
also, on that note, so I'm actually bullish, and I don't really see this really being a move because the dollar is so strong, and I have the dollar bullet. I'm bullish on the dollar, so I think this might just be. It might come up and touch the gap at best, but I think it's going to come down and complete a 5-wave movement.
We could certainly be in a fourth wave because once you just said that about the dollar, we can think about it in a different way. And I do have a 1, 2, 3 top here, so this drop we could be inside a fourth wave. That's a possibility. So perhaps these closer hanging fruit target area might be in line. So what I could do is to look for price to get to this area. But what I do have, however, is a definite 1, 2, 3 here. So this could push us up some ways, maybe even to this gap, perhaps. So if it is a fourth wave, which it looks like it could be, then this would be the probable move to this target right here.
I was going to ask if you could take a look at the dollar just to kind of confirm my bias, because I have on the monthly, I have it at a wave 2 correction that just touched the
monthly
38%. So now I'm looking at that reaction off of the 38%, and kind of see if on the weekly here it's going to just continue upwards.
Okay, so you're talking about the monthly. So I'm on the monthly here.
Yep.
We just came through this chop. We're basically still in it. We're trying to push out of it right now to the upside. So definitely in a little congestion area here, consolidation area. Let's go down to the weekly and see a little closer. Okay, so the weekly gives me a better idea. So we've come through this previous high, and we've got a little bit of a retrace here, pushed up, and now again a little bit of a chop. So it looks like a fourth wave here from a low 1, 2 in this area, and then this move. So we'd be looking for continued movements to the upside to take out these highs, bouncing off this gap right here. So that looks like what's going on the daily. There's that drop down to the gap from the weekly, and we're getting that nice bounce at this point. So lots of strength, and you can see the daily candles. Previous candle was in between, and now the new candle for the daily has opened and taken out both highs and is heading higher. So where is it likely to go to? Take out this high and reach for these highs up here. Of course, it's not going to do it all in one shot, but that seems to be the trajectory. So what your question then, Marquis? It looks very strong right now, that's for sure, right?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing. And then on the 4 hour, I'm seeing that it's kind of entering into a wave 4. That's why we're getting all this kind of gyration.
Yeah, we're quite flat right here, but we do have a 1, 2, 3 at this point, and either here, and we're pushing up. So we could, consolidate a little bit in here before we bounce off again and continue to take out this high. So looking quite strong on it for the U.S. dollar. So usually that entails a little bit of weakness in the indices and so forth, and that's what we're kind of seeing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the indices are trying to make a little comeback here right now. So the plays then would be, if I go down, I'm on the 4 hour right now. Aussie U.S. dollar, since we have strength in the U.S. dollar, Aussie would be heading to the downside. Euro U.S. dollar would be heading to the downside. GBP U.S. dollar would be also heading to the downside. And but what a difference between GBP and euro! Wow. So the euro is very weak in comparison to the GBP. So GBP is a good play because it's got a lot more room to fall. We've got a nice 1, 2, 3, and it's got a lot of room to fall to come take out these lows. So compared to the euro, which has already made that move, it's quite the difference, eh? And then we would look at the other pairs. USD CAD would be heading to the upside because, of course, US dollar is strong. USD Swiss would be heading to the upside because the US dollar is strong. And USD JPY would be heading to the upside because the US dollar is strong. So you can play based on the strength of the US dollar at this point, all these different currency pairs. I look at like even gold. Gold would be, of course, in a little bit, gold against the US dollar would be a tad on the weak side, and it is. US dollar strength. And the same thing with Bitcoin. And of course, we've seen that happening right now with Bitcoin in a downward mode. But looking to turn around, you can see we're getting a 1, 2, 3 here. So we could see a push back out of this. So hourly, you can see the last 4 hour bars were down. So we've taken out the low here and it's pushing back. We're creating a tail. So we could have a little further drop here, perhaps. We could even take out this low because, again, I can see a 1, 2, 3 here. So this could be just a fourth wave and we're heading down one more time to take out these lows. So there could be still a lot of weakness in this candle to the downside. So watching my NAS, I have to be aware of all that this could just be like I say, a quick move to the upside into this fourth wave rather than having a target way up here at this point. Because of the strength in the US dollar, that might be reason to be cautious on this. So I just have to watch this move carefully, and certainly can take some off when we get here. And just see how far up we go. I mean, we could get to this gap here. So right now I'm in a no lose situation because I've got my stop. I can actually move my stop up a little tighter into this area. So I'm in good stead here right now with this trade. So I'm good. I can watch it on the 5 minute and see if I can get to this target area here. All right. So I see Mr. Baines with us. Peter made off like a bandit again on Tesla.
Yeah, I can show that trade whenever you want to.
And this was Tesla. This from this morning on the 5 minute. We opened at. Let me just get rid of these lines here.
The 1 minute's better to look at.
Yeah, just looking at the overall, just to get an idea of what was going on at that point in this morning. So we had a huge drop, and then a big push up, and then we kind of chopped up and down in this area, and now we're pushing back to the upside, just like the indices are. So I would think that this morning at the open. This is the 5 minutes. So you were catching something in this leg here.
I caught right there at the top, the very top. I caught a 1, 2, 3 top on the 1 minute chart, and on the open, yeah, there it is. 1, 2, 3 top, and then boom.
And that is a beauty 1, 2, 3 top indeed, and indeed it's a boom. So then you could have again caught it here or here,
Yeah.
and then this drop, and then it turns around and right back up again. So lots of opportunities there in Tesla, definitely this morning.
Yeah, I got the run down. I didn't bother catching the run up because I have a thing about counter trend trading. I just can't get my head around it. Like the overall trend on Tesla is down. I think we're going to get more downside price movement, but that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, let's take a look at Tesla overall now. So we've had quite the drop. You remember I was calling for Tesla to do that drop when we were sitting at this area, that because we had a 1-2 here, that we would more than likely take out this low and come down into the 200 and probably down into 260 area.
Yeah,
it's possible to. So we've had quite a drop, and we can look at distance from high to low here, and distance from high to low here, and it's almost identical. So we could be very close to a turnaround point at this time. So
yeah, I agree.
Looking at it from the 4 hour, and if I have the 4 hour candles there to show. So again, we've had quite a drop. So do we have another leg down to come? That's totally possible, because this can be a 1-2 here, and we could do that one more time. So not out of the woods as yet, definitely, as Peter's pointing out. So yeah, we could get a nice little bounce here, certainly, and take out maybe these 3 highs, perhaps come back into this gap. But we could certainly continue back down again, taking out these lows.
Yeah.
So we're not out of the woods as yet.
No.
That's on the hourly time frame. So looking pretty good though. When you come down to the 15, we've got we've got a nice 1, 2, 3 right in here, and one here as well. So looking like we could go up for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm looking to grab another short at the right time.
Okay.
Marquis or anybody that has TOS, I put the ATR label in the script in the room that you can attach to your chart, and it allows you to tell when the ATR gets to a high level, it changes color, so that you know that your margin will go up, and also that you'll have more of a struggle in trying to get the trade that you want because of the fast movement.
What does the ATR represent exactly, George? Is that trend, momentum?
The trend is showing you a volatility. It's literally like the high to low. It's the true range of your candles.
Okay, so like a momentum candle or a momentum indicator.
So all you do is put it into your studies and add it to your chart, and it'll come up on the top left-hand side as a label. It'll tell you the ATR, and if the volatility goes up, it'll first go to yellow, and then at an extreme level, it'll go to red.
Okay, thank you, George.
That should work for you also, Lennox, even though, because you're still, you still have TOS on your system.
Yes. Okay, so we're getting quite a nice move here. So we're looking like we're going to come through this area and continue up. So again, I could move my stop up a little bit, but I'd like to see price break above the high first and get a closure before I would move my stop to this level, just in case, because it's equal lows. They might do a nasty and take everybody out before they continue. So equal lows are always suspect. So. All right, taking a look at Bitcoin. And everybody can still see my screen okay, yes?
Yep.
Yeah, I was clicking around on Skype there, and I didn't know if I had switched anything. So. Okay, so Bitcoin, if I look at it from the hourly standpoint, again, weakness, looking for some further weakness here. So it's looking a little suspect to go up. You can see we're very much in a downward mode. So I go back to the 30. Where would we be going to? There isn't anything down here. There's an order block here. So more than likely, they're looking to take out these lows. If I go back to the hourly, then what I'm seeing overall from this level is this 1-2 right here, the drop up to 4, similar to what Tesla did, looking for them to take out these lows. So this would be a nice sell opportunity on Bitcoin. So 15-minute time frame. How can we get in? We have to maybe see, okay, we already touched with a pullback into that gap. So can we get another pullback into the gap and get a 1, 2, 3? That would be the ideal setup if that occurred. That's on the 15. So if we go to the 5, very choppy area, so they're flat. So it's possible we could get that move back up to take out these guys before they turn it around and come down. So a little patience here because we are in a fourth wave here. So we need a little bit of patience in here. Yeah. And so that's Bitcoin. So definitely have to be, if you're wanting to trade that, you have to be a little patient, like I said on that. All right. Anyone got any questions or anything like that? Anything you want me to take a look at? I should look at NVDA, eh?
Well, that went down this morning, I think.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah, we're not down by that much, really, but let's just see on the hourly. So it looked like it opened strongly. It actually opened way up here at 135 and then came straight back down. So it looks like, yesterday what I was saying for the earnings was that we're in a fourth wave. So since we're in a fourth wave, we were sitting in this area here, that it's possible that they might not come down and take out this low if news was good. So what they did was they just moved up and completed the fifth wave, essentially, or the fourth wave, I should say, completed that fourth wave, and now they're making the fifth wave. So we would expect NVIDIA to continue falling now and go below 124. So quite interesting moves there. So we had this huge top, this drop into a fourth wave. So I would expect them to take out the lows.
So actually they completed the fourth wave, I guess last night, or is it early this morning?
This is the first thing this morning that they did. They opened way up here. This is a 9:30 candle. Or this is a 9 o'clock candle. Let me just go down.
That has extended hours on it?
This is 9:30 here. No, this is 9:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
So
take a look on my chart because I have extended hours.
so that's what they did here. They did the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then boom, dropped it down. So now we're in a fourth wave again, and looking to come down and take out the lows. So whatever they said didn't help.
Looks like NVIDIA on the 1 minute chart might have back-to-back 1, 2, 3 tops.
And what you can see, we're clearly in a fourth wave here. So very messy, choppy stuff. And Peter's pointing out some 1, 2, 3 tops, and that's what we've got. Another one, breach, and heading down.
And if we drew a Tom DeMark demand trend line, that would substantiate.
That
Yeah,
move
like that.
there.
Yeah, that would substantiate going short.
Yes, right there. And so you could do the closure of the candle below the trend line, or you could do a retrace, and it opened and then retraced back up. So that was a chance to get it a little higher. And this one is really good as well. Went below. They didn't close below though. They went back in, and that's an opportunity there for the sell. So looking pretty good there on NVIDIA. Not looking pretty good, actually. All right, so Tesla again is still pushing up with kind of a little bit of a turn. So I would suspect NASDAQ might be having a little bit of a turn here as well, and it is. So that's why I wanted to wait for price to break this high before moving the stop, because they can do that. They can come back and take you out and then go. So everybody's good?
Yep.
I know.
Good day, Lennox,
Yes.
and everyone else. Could you look at oil?
Oil. Okay, so we've got a strong U.S. dollar. So oil versus U.S. dollar should be, and it's gaining a little bit of strength there on the lower 10. It's very strong as well, right?
You were going to say, what would be the normal expectation?
Well, it's anytime you have the U.S. dollar first, you know, what I mean by first, USD, and whatever the instrument is. If the U.S. dollar is strong, then that instrument should be also strong.
Oh, so in this case,
yeah. So if you have the instrument like this, XXX U.S. dollar, then if the U.S. dollar is strong, then that instrument should be coming down.
but in this case,
So, yeah, like if we look at Euro US dollar, for example, or GBP US dollar right now, or if we look at USD CAD will be strong. And if we look at GBP US dollar, for instance, GBP US dollar, Euro US dollar will be weak.
Yeah. I understand that,
Yeah.
but the oil.
Yeah, so oil would be the same. I'd
Oh,
expect strength. And gold and silver, I'd expect strength as well. Right? Because we have
expect strength or weakness?
Weakness, I'm sorry. Weakness on the silver and gold, sorry. And
but with the oil, because they have
yeah, oil is bucking the trend here. I'm sorry, I've got you all confused there. I'm sorry. Yeah, so this should be the opposite. We would think that oil would be falling because we have a strong US dollar, right?
So, all right, in terms of how they label the oil, so they have West Texas oil or West Texas, they have that first, but they don't. Is it quoted against the US?
That's what this is, yeah.
So,
so it's showing a lot of strength against the US dollar right now, right?
Yeah. Now I was just trying to understand the correlation between the US dollar and oil, because if
you would think that this would be weak on the oil, but it's not.
I think the general correlation is when the dollar goes up, oil goes down.
Okay.
That usually typically is the case.
Yeah.
In this case, it's bucking the trend here big time, right?
It tends to be the same thing for gold and Bitcoin too.
Well, oil might be going up because Trump has canceled, I think, an agreement with Venezuela for oil. So then it might raise the oil price in the States because of possible supply issues, but I could be wrong.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with Mr. Trump, so anything he says can cause markets to do
chaos.
Yeah.
Right.
But does the pattern still hold though? Because wouldn't you say that we're in a or would you say that you have had 5 waves going down and you're going up, or it's a retracement to continue back down?
Well, it does look quite strong here, because we've come to this low and we're bouncing. So it is definitely giving us a bit of a bounce. I mean, overall, we've been very weak, of course, right? Since the beginning of the year, we've just been in a downward mode, but we've come all the way down to this low, taking out those previous lows here, which is unusual because we have a 1-2 here. I would not have expected them to take out that low, but they did, and just by a wick. So I would have expected that we'd come back into this area here and bounce from here. That would have been the expectation, but they came into this area, interestingly. So a lot of weakness there. So this could definitely be the bottom, or continue.
I don't know where your stop is on NAS.
It looks like I'm still alive anyways. It hasn't taken me out, so.
Okay.
So it's coming back down? Yeah, it's very close to my stop right now, so that's okay because I've already made nice profit and I'm in profit. So if it stops me out, it's all good. And what I was talking about with the NAS was that we had equal lows, remember when I said? And if you have equal lows, we go down to the 1 minute, they can come back and take you out. So we had equal lows here, and my stop is below the equal lows here. So I could have really moved my stop to these equal lows and just gotten taken out at this point, because whenever you get into fourth waves, this can happen. They can come all the way back down and take you out. So it looks like I'm going to die here in a moment. Yeah, that's it. But that's okay. So we can always get back in. That's the beauty of the game. So it's all good. Yeah, so there was, if I had gotten the closure above to this high, then I could have moved my stop here, no problem, but they weren't going to do that. So I could have made a little bit more profit by moving my stop here. But again, we can always get back in once we get a 1, 2, 3 at this point to continue the push. All right, so back to oil. And And that was on the daily, I believe. Yeah, so we're looking for this. Very unusual that they took this low out, but 4 hour, now we're getting that nice 1, 2, 3, and we're pushing to the upside. So it looks like this move is complete. We've got that sweep, the drop. Looks like we've completed 5 waves here as well, and 1, 2, and we're pushing right back up to take out those highs here. So it looks quite strong. Omar, looks very good. There's a nice 1, 2 here, and a big strong move. So the likely stop is target is up these highs.
Oh, so because you had that sweep there, you
at this point?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That sweep there in the middle there.
Yes. And in here as well?
Yeah, well, that sweep, yeah, but that would form like, yeah, that would be forming a 1, 2 there from.
So this 1, 2 here, and another one, and we're on our way. So it's quite a nice move. Nice bounce off this gap here on the hourly.
Yeah.
This is where the gaps come in so powerfully. If you can see this hourly gap form, immediately you can drop down to the 5 minute or the 1 minute and look for an entry. So if I see that 5 minute gap form, so that means that this candle here has to close. So once this candle closes, we have a gap on the hourly. So you can just drop right down to the 5 minute and find that spot on your hourly and look for an entry. You see how we hit it twice and then bounced off. So you can look for, you know, a setup of a 1, 2, 3 at that point.
Here, a point though, because sometimes you might be waiting for a deeper retracement into the gap, but just a touch of the gap there would be fine.
Yeah, touch of the gaps is good because there's no guarantee that they're going to come into it.
Yeah, because so sometimes you can be waiting for a precise entry where you want to come deeper, and the trade leads you.
So what, you know, ICT says that it's a touch is fine, and he suggests that you, if you're putting a limit order, that you put it 1 tick above, right? So, and you know, if it does come in, you can always add to your position if you feel that, you know, you're still looking to go long, right? But yeah, the hourly is good because you can use that just to gauge, and of course you can drop down even to the 1 minute and get even better entries, right? Better, smaller stops and so forth. Right? So very powerful stuff. Okay, so back to the NAS again. Let's see if I can get back in. So we still have another push to come. So look at that, we've set up already to go. So it's a buy already on the NAS to go back up. Amazing. And Bitcoin is making a liar out of me because I thought we would be, it looked at this point that we would certainly come back down and take out these lows, but they're not doing that. They've come back into this area, just like what we looked at on oil. They've come back into this area quite a bit and closed above it. So it's not looking like we're coming down anymore. So we're not getting that 5th wave drop that we would expect at this point. And I see this happen on Bitcoin quite often. It's very unusual that they don't do that. So we get a nice 1, 2, 3. So essentially that would be A, B, and C. And for those, when I'm talking A, B, and C, I know that we have a lot of people watching on YouTube that haven't got a clue what I'm talking about and so forth. So let me explain what I'm talking about. First of all, hello to everyone. That's new here and watching. And our basic theory and methodology for trading is we're looking for this setup, and this is all it is. It's this is way before ICT and all that. I've been trading since the days of ICT when he began. I started off in 1996 trading. So I've been at this for quite a while. And essentially all I'm looking for is this pattern. What ICT has brought to the game for me is an addition to the pattern, and that's this movement here. So previous to that, I didn't look at this leg, this little piece here. I only looked for this movement. So you can flip it upside down for a sell, but this would be in a buy situation. So all I was looking for is this 1, 2, 3, and similar to ICT, I learned from the same gentleman back in the we traded the commodities back in the 80s and so forth, Mr. Ken Roberts. And his whole philosophy and methodology was to look for 1, 2, 3s. And he looked for 1, 2, 3s on the weekly time frame. So this is just that 1, 2, 3. So that's all I'm looking for. And the addition of this little piece is quite good, because it's giving me that sweep that they talk about, the sweep of liquidity. So there's liquidity sitting here, and price comes down from here and sweeps that liquidity. Then we get a sweep of the highs here, which is we call a change of character, and then price retraces back from the move up. This move back down, I would always look for price to come into this area, which is a 50 to 62% Fibonacci retracement. And I use the fibs because I follow the Elliott wave. This is an Elliott wave 1, 2. So in essence, I call it a 1, 2, 3, but in Elliott terminology, this would be 0 point, this would be 1, this would be 2, and then you get that move out into the third wave. So this is all we're looking at, and we want to see a retrace into 50 to 62% area for an entry, and then you're off you go. Now, ICT has introduced fair value gaps and order blocks, and you can incorporate those to help you. If we come back into a fair value gap, that's great. Whether or not there's a fair value gap is of no consequence. It was of no consequence to me because I didn't know about fair value gaps. So it was always, 50 to 62% retracement. The probability, it's all probabilities, and the probability of price coming back 50 to 62% was quite high, in around the 89% of the time price would retrace back into this number 3 point area or number 2 point area 89% of the time. So you have to go with the probabilities. And this has paid dividends over the years for me. It's very simple. That's why we call it the simple 1, 2, 3. We're just looking for that simple 1, 2, 3 movement like that, and the retracement, and you're in, and that's it. So if you see it, yes, you can play it, but it's not always going to be correct. You have to be at a low. You have to be at some kind of gap or some kind of support area for this to be effective. You can get a 1, 2, 3 here. You can get a 1, 2, 3 there. You can see you can get them everywhere. They're everywhere. Even from the top, you can get one there. You can get another one there. The ones that we are most effective are the outside ones, of course, the ones that are the first ones to start a move. That's the ones we want to catch. They can be quick. They can be very quick, like that, and off they go. They can be wide, like this. But the key is to catch them at the ends of the moves. And we see ICT trading and so forth. That's all he's doing. He's going into these 1, 2, 3s all the time. He doesn't call them 1, 2, 3s. He debunks Elliott wave. Everything else is garbage to him, except for his method. And that's fine. But I followed the Elliott wave theory, and it's essentially a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave pattern. This is a structure, and then it has a retracement of an ABC correction, and then it continues. And it's a simple pattern, simple structure, and it's just labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then it's labeled A, B, and C, and that's it. It's a simple structure. The chart's always doing this. They're always doing this. So once you understand this, and you can just get a quick course at elliottwave.com. I have no affiliation with anyone at all. So elliottwave.com, you can get a quick course, free course actually, on the Elliott wave.
Of course, what we enjoy is wave 3, the impulse wave, after the 1, 2, 3 bottom.
Yes.
When we catch the impulse wave, which is the wave 3, that's where the money is. And then, of course, when we go into wave 4, it can get kind of dicey in there because it can flip-flop around for quite a while.
Yeah, this is where trouble gets most people, is in the 4th wave. So we try to trade from number 2 point to number 3 point, get out, and then go try to find another 1, 2, 3. If you decide to trade in the 4th wave, which is what I was showing yesterday with Bitcoin, you can get chopped up to pieces. Even on a 1 minute time frame, you can get chopped right up. So it's a very tough thing. And yesterday, I made a big mistake in my account. Actually, I was walking with my wife, and I went into a trade before I left home, and I was following it on my phone as we were walking, and I accidentally went into the trade in the wrong account and with the wrong lot size, and it was going against me, and it was like, ow. So I made a big mistake, and I was caught going the wrong way, and yeah, not good. So 4th waves are super dangerous, and you have to be super careful in them.
Of course,
so
what we're looking for to get out of wave 4 at some point during wave 4 is, in an uptrend, we're looking for a 1, 2, 3 bottom to take us out and get out of wave 4. If the market is going down and we're in wave 4, then we're looking for a 1, 2, 3 top to take us out. It sometimes takes a while to monitor price action to find a 1, 2, 3 pattern to take us out of wave 4. And you have to wait, because if you try and trade wave 4, it's like kangaroos jumping up and down on speed. You can get really whipsawed to death.
Indeed. So this is a low here of 246.31. This is a low here of 247.75. So this low is lower. Since this low is lower than this low, it looks like this would be a 1, 2, 3 at this point, but it's not, because this low is lower. So the 1, 2, 3 actually starts right here. And so this is the 1, 2, 3 at that point. That gives you that retrace back. And then you get that move to the 3rd wave, and then into the 4th wave where it's choppy. And then you get that move into the 5th wave. And then you get that ABC. So that's the whole structure that I just drew out very quickly. If this was a lower low, that would have been a much nicer looking 1, 2, 3. And then you get the number 3 point, the number 4 point in Elliott wave, the number 5 point in Elliott wave, the A and the B and the C. So at this point then, if that's correct, then we should be getting a 1, 2 here to continue the move to the upside. And that 1, 2, this move here consists of 5 waves as well. And that's what we're looking for. And it consists of an ABC, and it continues again. So it's just the same pattern being repeated over and over and over. So this pattern that I'm drawing right there is this pattern right here, is also this pattern right here. And it's just, everything's a fractal. So this consists of 5 waves. This consists of the ABC, and then we continue out again in that move. So if we break this level here, which it looks like we're going to, then that nullifies this move. Or does it? If this is our A at this point, then we could certainly, sorry, this is our C. Let me just redo that. If this is our C at this point, if we've broken A, this is our A, we've broken that level, and we drop down to this C. So if we break C, then it kind of messes the structure up. So we don't really want to see that happen, but it can happen, of course. We could, and if it is happening, then more than likely we're going to go down and take out the lows, which would mean that there's some pressure on Bitcoin to go down. So will we break that low? And just draw a line there. So it's a simple concept. Of course, trading is difficult. I'm not going to say it's easy. You have to be vigilant. You have to be patient. You have to be. You have to have stick-to-itiveness. It's a serious game. So if we break that low, which it looks like we're going to break that low, and why do I think we're going to break that low? Well, I have this big, huge move here, so it's looking very lean that we're heading down. See how it looks on the 5-minute, and on the 5-minute, I have a 1, 2, 3 here, and I've come to this area, and we're doing this chop. So it's definitely looking like we're going to take out these lows. So it's be good to get in on a trade here to the downside on Bitcoin. How can we get in though? The ideal was if we had caught it a little earlier, we could have caught it right here. That would have been the best right there. That move, drop down, sweep that low right there. Sweep this low right there. Let me draw it again. Retrace back in, beautiful, back into a gap, perfect. And then this drop. So we've swept this low now. We've closed below it. And can we get a retrace back up again? Possible. Possibly. And then that would be an entry if we could get a retrace back up. So we see we have swept that low. So the whole count is messed up now. It was looking like we might have been able to push to the upside, but no, it's not happening. And when we look at it from a higher time frame, everything's pointing to the downside. So you have to go with the flow. So any retrace on Bitcoin would be a good sell opportunity.
That
And
was the algo move, Lennox.
yes, go ahead.
That was the algo move.
Are we now go time? Yeah,
Yeah.
we just hit the 2 o'clock time on the Eastern. I'm on the west coast of Canada, and I'm on the Pacific Standard Time. So I'm always, if I get the time wrong, I'm 3 hours behind New York time. And Vic, if anyone in the room has any questions, anyone in the YouTube chat have any questions or comments or anything that is relevant to what we're doing. I cannot see the chat. So bear with us if you have a question that needs to be answered. All right, so there's the drop. It doesn't look like we're getting much of a retrace here at all, if any. We might just continue dropping. Let's see how Bitcoin, NASDAQ is doing now. So essentially, all I'm looking to play is on either NASDAQ or Bitcoin. And I use the S&P. So if I go to this chart here, for instance, I'm looking at the S&P and the NAS together to look for any divergences and so forth, because this can occur. So as I'm speaking, it's occurring. We've got divergence right here on the NAS and the S&P. So S&P was much weaker, a little bit weaker right here, and the NAS could not break that low. So we're getting that divergence. So it's good to look at both to see which one, and I call it which one's telling the truth, because the truth is our structure. And if that structure is not being played out, then one of them is lying, one of them is telling the truth. So right now, looking at both instruments, I've got, if I put my structure back, this is what I'm looking for in my structure. Do that again, sorry. This is what I'm looking for in my structure. And so I've got 1, 2, 3 all the way down, 4. And I'm looking for them to break this low. So this is that low right there. So S&P did. Now the NAS is doing it. So now they're both telling the truth. But just a moment ago, the S&P was telling the truth where the NAS was not. But now they're both doing the same thing. So it's all good. So I'm getting that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We need to see that sweep of that low there. So now what we can do, since we've got that sweep and the structure, we can look for price to come back and make a 1, 2 to go back up. And it's just as simple as that. And again, simple, but still tough to play, because you have to get in, you have to put your stops, you got to wait patiently for the setup and so forth. And there are a number of ways to skin the cat. I have Peter and George that trade in totally different ways. And Peter is using Tom DeMark trend lines. And essentially what Tom DeMark trend lines are, you're just plotting the most current highs and lows with a trend line. So in this case here on NASDAQ, the most recent high and low, we want to join them, and that's the previous low. That's the current swing low. Most previous swing low to that one is that one. That's as simple as that is. And then that's the support one, and then the resistance one or supply one. It would be if this candle turned into the next candle makes a swing high here, then we would join those two, and those would be the two most recent. Currently, it is this one right here and this one. Oops, I got the wrong thing. Sorry. So it would be this one and this one right now. That's making that. So he uses that to help him gauge, especially in fourth waves, when we're breaking out of fourth waves and things like that. So we get our structure, and fourth waves usually chop, and then we get that move. He's looking for putting the trend line in, and seeing, okay, price is breaking out. Maybe it's a good opportunity for an entry to continue, that type of thing. So my line would be moving. My line would be moving now to this high here, and now the most recent high prior is that one. And my trend line to the bottom is been broken. So either we're going to be continuing to the downside, or we're going to be moving this line to here, but it can't be lower than this one, of course, right? So keep it at that one until such time that we get a fractal. So what I'm looking for here is a breach of this high coming back up, giving me a 1, 2, 3 to go. So do we get a fractal? And I don't mind jumping in on these fractals, and the reason why is because these fractals at this point, when you get a swing high like that, or a swing low like here, and a swing low, of course, is two lower highs, or two higher lows, sorry, and a swing high is the opposite, right? Two lower highs. So that's our swing high. This is our swing low. Nice happy face. When you get that, this in itself is a 1, 2, 3, and so I can take that trade at that point to go in. So if I get a swing low like that, I can enter at this point to go. I could wait for this candle to close. It's probably best to wait for that candle to close. Sometimes I don't. I just go in without the candle closing, but it can cost you, because if you don't wait for it to close, sometimes you get this kind of thing happen. So it's always good to wait for a candle to close. Takes a little more patience. Sometimes I'm too impatient. You know, I'm human. I make mistakes and I have tendencies. I like to get in as early as possible into the trades and have the smallest risk, but it can cost you by doing that.
Lennox, when you get a chance, can you have a boo at the dollar in terms of future direction? Just when you have time.
Okay, just looking to see if we get a fractal here. So now let me make this smaller again. So our trend line now has changed. We have to move it to the previous low trend line because we have broken that one. And now with this one could now move to possibly here if we get a fractal. So you can see we're still going down, and it's a bit, we've come down quite a ways. We've come back down into this 1, 2 here. So I'm not liking that so much that we've come back into this area. So it's possible that we can just continue down, just like Bitcoin is doing, and taking out these lows. So that's what it's kind of showing to us. So you were correct, Omar, that was it you that was saying, or was it Marquis that was pointing out that because of the US dollar strength, we could see weakness here in the NAS, in the indices.
Yeah, I think Omar joined a little later.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so that was good pointing that out, because you can see that's because of this 1, 2, 3 top. This drop puts us in that fourth wave mess. So we would expect the price to come down, take out the lows. So we want to be able to get in. If we want to go in now, it's the same thing like Bitcoin. We want to be able to catch some kind of retrace to get in. So ideally, if we were paying attention and watching NASDAQ a lot closer, we could have been jumping in these areas here, on that move here, on this move back up. See, that's interesting. They took out that high there, and now they've dropped it down. So they enticed the traders to go long here, take them all out, and then take them all out again. So people put their stops here, people put their stops here, shorts are here, and they fooled them to go short, and then they fooled them to go long. And leave them all alone in the dust. So we're not getting any retraces now. So this move is basically.
Lennox?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I think when you that's why the time frame is so important. And just adding a point to what you're saying. The time frame. When you look on the 5 minute, you see that large leg down.
Yes.
From I think it's 9:30 or.
Yes, that was the key.
Yeah. So when you see that,
we come out of Asia into the New York time session, to the New York session, and they create this 1, 2, 3 top here.
That is why when you're down on the 1 minute, and sometimes you get lost there because sometimes you forget to look on the higher time frame.
And you can't. You mustn't forget to look on the higher time frame. It behooves you, and it's best that you do that, because if you don't, then you get caught. And you see, we get a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom, and everything looks beautiful from that level on the 1 minute, and you're expecting this kind of move, and you don't get it, because why? We're inside a fourth wave, going the opposite way. So
yeah, so it's clear
you're not going to get that.
Yeah, it's clear on the 5. It's good to trade it on the 1 minute, but you need a vantage point view to see what's happening.
Yes, I mean, you can certainly make, if I go back to the 1 minute, you can see these are big moves, right? These are great for scalping. But if you know where you are, I mean, this move here, once we get this drop down from this morning to 10 o'clock time, we get a 1, 2, 3. This is a great trade to go back up. But if we've come from a 1, 2, 3 top and we're at this point and we get a 1, 2, 3, you have to be super careful about how far up you're going to go on that. So it's not good to think, oh, I'm going to go all the way back up to here and say yes, it's possible, but and we can judge it also by putting the fibs on.
Yeah.
So if I see a move like this, I can put the fib on and I can say, okay, how far up would I expect? I like my 1.618, so I'd be looking at 1.618 as a target, and I'm out.
Oh, to go up.
Yes, to go up against this move, because it gives me a 1, 2, 3 here, but because I have a 1, 2, 3 top up here and even here, I have to be careful about wanting to go too far up.
Yeah.
You don't want to be going to 2.618 or 3% or 3.618. It suffice to go into 1.618, 1.414 to 1.272 retracement of this current move.
Yeah, sorry to cut you. Yeah, sorry to cut you.
No problem. And one other thing, you remember what I've pointed out previously is that if you feel or if you've analyzed that price has come to a low from a previous 1, 2, 3, we can calculate by the retracement to this point, from that point there to the low, that we would expect price to retrace back into 38 to 50%. So that's what it's doing there. So this, if you get into this 1, 2, 3, you'd want to be looking to get out in this area.
Yeah, it amazes me because I drew my fib on the move down, and prices between the 50 and the 62% going up. But what is of great interest is when you look at the S&P 500, it retraced much higher.
And that's what they make the difference in the two instruments to mess you up as a trader. If you're an S&P trader and you're not looking at the NAS, and you're a NAS trader, you're not looking at the S&P, you can get messed up because one of them again is telling the truth, and one of them is not. So, this movement, once you get this 1, 2, 3, again, we can calculate price. We can also go back to previous gaps. That previous gap is in the same area as the 50 to 38% retracement. So there's a number of ways to look at where you want to take your target. But yeah, let me just keep those on. I'm going to put the S&P on just to see what the difference was. See if I get the same spot on the S&P at 10. Yes, I do. Good. So it's very much the same 1, 2, 3, higher. But it went much higher, and that's totally possible. And you can see it did do that. So if I put the fibs on this one, on the S&P, and I'm looking to go to 1.618, I'm getting out 1.618 here, and it went a little higher. So you could have gone up to 2.414, but it's a stretch, right? You kind of want to think, okay, maybe I'm good getting out in this area, because at this point it's the fourth wave, so they could have brought it back down before they came back up. You have to be really careful. Yeah. The structure is it's very quick fourth wave here, but they could have dropped it back. That's how our structure usually looks. So in this case, they didn't give you much of a retrace. It's quite interesting there. Yeah, very good.
The picture though is much clearer as to the structure. on the 5 minute, because when you're on the 1 minute, because you can't see everything, because there are more candles. So
yes, you can't see the forest from the trees.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to be a little higher up to get an overall picture. So we are getting a little bounce on the S&P right now. So I would still kind of be expecting a bounce and then a continuation. So the NAS would be similar. Looking for that bounce. So on the 5 minute, again, once you understand where you are, now you can drop down to 1 minute, as long as you don't forget about where you are, right? I'm going to take these lines off. And that happens often. You know, if you forget where you are, and what I mean by forgetting, if we know we're in this structure and we're looking to drop, and you come down to a lower time frame and you're playing around in here and you forget that you're looking to drop and you get a move to go up, you could be in trouble. You know, you could get a 1, 2, 3 here. You think, oh, I could take that back up. Yes, it probably might work, but more often than not, it's not going to work. It would be this is a counter trend. We're looking for a bounce, but you know, you have to be careful about taking that to the upside because the trend is to the downside, right? So yes, we can certainly get a little bit of a bounce, but it might not take you very far.
But how would you draw your is it what you call demarc trend line, or
at this current moment?
No, I think it might, no, not at the current moment. Let's say on the 5 minute.
On the 5 minute? Okay, so you're looking for the most recent swing high. So what is the most recent swing high at the top? This one. And what's the one prior to that one? That one, right? We've got two of them right. I'm going the wrong way here. Sorry. I'll do it. So we've got a swing high right here, and we've got a swing high right here. So that's the most recent swing highs, right? That makes sense right there.
Yeah.
Let me take the fib off. Less stuff on the chart. So the only things I have on my chart are the gaps, the fair value gaps, and the change of character and break of structure indicators. And these the 4-hour candles. I want to see what the 4-hour candles are doing, and so I'm kind of following the 4-hour candle. We went in, we went up in a wick, and now we're coming back down to take out all the lows down below. So the next that's the supply or the resistance demarc trend line. So to get the one below support, we have to find the most recent low, which is right here, and that one. So these two would be the most recent swing lows. This was it right here. It would have been if this candle didn't go below it, right? So now it's this one.
Oh, so which one would allow you to catch that
this current move
down?
So
because when you were
right here.
No, the bigger move down. Which one would have allowed you to catch it earlier? How would that trend line allow you to catch it earlier? Because
what do you mean the bigger move? Like you mean from up here?
No, in that fourth wave.
In the fourth wave. Ooh.
That same fourth wave there?
On the 5 minute.
Yeah.
Well,
would you draw a line from where you had it in the middle there to?
You would have to draw one from here to this point.
At the low.
At the low, it would still be these 2 points, right?
Oh, it would not have changed. Okay.
No, because this is still the low and the low. There's no other ones for you to. So you would to catch this move. You see, it's how correct it is because the only way to get out of here is to catch a move that breaks below the trend line and closes below the trend line. Ideally, you want to look for that closure. So this would be right here. So, so if we went down to the 1 minute now, and I'll mark this off, I'll mark this little box right here. So we're looking for price to close. And that's the closure right there. So if I drop to the 1 minute, there we are. So you could enter, you know, when price closes below that box. Or you could even on a retrace there. But, you know, as soon as it closed, Peter said yesterday when he went into Tesla, he just went in, as soon as the price closed, he went in. Because the movement is down, you're broken the trend line. So you're on your way. So on the 1 minute, that trend line is here. And so you could even use that candle as your entry.
So is it better to draw the trend line on the 1 minute as opposed to the 5? Because the 5 seems to be getting you in too late.
Well, what would be your answer to that, Peter?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Would it be better to draw your trend line on the 1 minute or the 5 minute if you're looking to enter the trade?
Well, I like it on the 1 minute because that's where the game is. That's where I execute my trades. I mean, I look at the 5 minute to get a feel for trend and so on, but ultimately I'm always drawing trend lines on the 1 minute.
So if we were doing it on the 1 minute, Omar, then these lines become much tighter.
Yeah, and that's why, because I would prefer to have caught the trend on higher up than
so that would be would be on this at this time frame here. You would be looking at your previous low and your right there. So you see the difference.
Yeah.
Like going from on the 5 minute, you're coming in here. On the 1 minute, you're catching it here.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I asked the question, because
yes, and if you can see your 1, 2, 3 at this point as well, you can also utilize your 1, 2, 3 as an even better entry, right? Because you're getting that retrace back up to your previous trend line, which is the same on the 5 minute. Interestingly,
I'm trying to understand this trend line thing as to where you would mark it, because well, Peter mentioned that. What's the name of that gentleman?
Tom DeMark.
Tom DeMark, yeah, that he was the only one who would have gotten it right.
So it's a swing high to swing high. Most recent swing high to most recent swing high. That's all. Most recent swing low to most recent swing low. It's as simple as that.
But all right, could you make your chart smaller so I can see that lowest point there? Yeah. All right. So why wouldn't you have drawn it from that low point to your left?
It could be this one. I'm sorry. It could be that one. Sorry, I didn't even see that one.
No, I am thinking that you could have drawn it from that lowest point down there.
Down.
To your left. No. Where? Yeah.
Down here.
Yeah.
But that's not the most recent swing low to this one. Okay. The most recent one is this one.
Okay.
You understand? There's another one here, and there's another one here, and there's another one here, and there's another one here. So, and this one. So you don't want to use this one, or this one, or this one, or this one, or this one. You want to use the most recent one.
Probably what I'm thinking about is not a Tom DeMark trend line.
You're just talking about a trend line.
I think it's a demand trend line. And so
yeah, you're just talking about a regular trend line.
Yeah, because you would connect the lows.
Yes, that's a totally different type of trend line. So if you're looking at that, it's from this low, and you connect this one.
Yeah.
And then that you're getting a totally different look at this now.
Yeah.
So yes, you could use that and say, okay, I've broken that to that level, and I could go in on that level, right?
Or you wait on the pullback there into that gap there.
Yes.
After it broke that line.
After it broke it, yeah, you could wait for a pullback there or a pullback on the bigger one.
That one,
on. So the Tom DeMark is totally different. This is just a regular trend line, following the trend.
But it seems like, I mean, both of them can work.
They both work, yeah. I mean, there's so many ways, again, to skin the cat. You know, so many ways to cook the chicken. So many, you know.
Yeah. Because it's more ideal to catch the trade at the earliest point. You don't want to be too early and go into drawdown where it pulls back on you. But you know, that seems like a valid entry up top there to catch it earlier. That's
Certainly. I mean, you can do it. You can do it that way. That would have worked.
Yeah.
And you know, again, keeping in mind a breach of that line, closure below. You want to wait for a closure below it to confirm it. Then you could certainly either jump in, putting your stop above, or say, okay, let's wait for you know, a pullback and a confirmation of a 1, 2, 3, and so on, right?
As I see that on your chart, George have a strategy where he places his stop at the number
1 point.
Number 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he was going in, he'd be putting his stop here. If we were going in on this big move here.
Or
because that is you know, our structure.
Or you could put it at that one in the middle there.
You could
right there.
Put it there, yes.
Because
if you're looking at the overall structure, which consists of 5 waves, this is our number 1 point.
Okay.
This is another 1, 2 here as well, and then, you know, that drop. But so that whole move is our structure.
Why I asked the point about, or made the point about the stop, is because sometimes you're trying to keep your stop too tight and then you get stopped out of the trade.
Yes.
Prematurely. But at the same time though, you don't want to make your stop too wide because you know, I guess it's best to lower your lot size and make the stop, make an efficient stop. And give yourself a better chance of not being stopped out, but you don't want it to be too wide at the same time.
That's correct. So look at that. We've missed this entire move. You know,
yeah.
A pullback here would have been really nice, but we didn't get one. Like I said, if we had a pullback, we could have caught this move. And you don't even have to do it on a pullback. You could just jump in, because if your analysis shows that we're going to be taking this low out and you're up here and you don't get that pullback that you're looking for, you could just jump in, because you have a good idea that we're going to be taking out this low. You can just do it, that target to that level. So there's, again, a number of ways to skin the cat. There was a small pullback, you know. I was expecting maybe a little higher pullback, but we didn't get it. So you could take that at that point, or a breach of that there, and so on, and to catch that move. So certainly, you know, possible to make pips, points, handles, if you are aware of where you're going and, you know, where you are on the chart. So
just out of interest, Lennox, just out of interest, NVDA has a bad case of heartburn. I shorted it and grabbed some money out of that.
Good. So it's tanking, eh?
Yeah, tanking big time.
Yeah, and that's what we expected. We expected NVIDIA to roll over and break those lows. So yeah, they did it. And I would suspect that Tesla might be doing a similar dance at the same point. And they are doing this as well.
Tesla's got a bad case of heartburn too.
Yeah, they're slowly coming down and break that low. So we have a clean 1, 2, 3 top right here. And look at that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move here. So there's the pattern. And now we're breaking down to take out the lows, continuing down to take out these lows next. So the structure is really intact here.
Musk is not going to be too happy.
Probably not. So there is our number 1 point. There is our number 2 point. There's our number. This is almost identical to the NAS. So that whole move there is that 1, 2, and then we get this drop. There's a pullback that would have given you an opportunity, just like the NAS, to get in to continue. We've got another 1, 2 here. So this move is just a fake, and they're going to continue down and take out these lows. So again, once you start to see the pattern and understand,
could you look on the 5 minute for the same Tesla?
Yes. So we're looking to take out the lows.
Okay.
So now you've got a 1, 2. We want to continue going down. We've gone through this one. So you could still jump in to Tesla. We were at 285 to 2. We could get down to 280. That's 5 points. That's about $1,500 right there, eh, Peter? 5 points?
Yeah, you got it. Tesla is probably the most profitable stock to trade because of the way it's priced. I mean, you know, if I'm trading 300 shares and I get $2, that's $600. That's not too shabby.
Nope, that's really good.
Oh, I don't understand the pricing on this on
Tesla?
On the shares. Yeah, on the
So how do we explain this, Peter? Tesla is at right now at 260. Let's say let's round it off, 285. So if you bought 100 shares at 285 and you went up to let's say we went up to 290, then you've made five shares, right?
Yeah.
5 points. So 5 times your 100, right?
When you say 100, is that one standard lot?
It's 100 shares of the stock. They're giving you 100 shares to play with.
How? Because when you're on MetaTrader, you trade in lot sizes. So
yes.
if you trade one standard lot,
one standard lot might be 100 shares. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly if that's what it is exactly on MetaTrader. Let me just see if that's so. Let me go to Tesla here. I'm just going to look at the specifications for it.
Oh, when you go into the symbols, it shows you there.
There's the specification for Tesla, and it's one contract. It just says one contract. So I would think it'd be 100 shares.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100. One contract would be one lot would be one standard lot would be
one standard
shares.
lot. 100 shares. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this would generate $500, right? Five times one. Would that be correct, Peter? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
And if you had 200 shares, it would be 1,000, and 300 shares would be 1,500, and so on, right?
Yeah, I usually look for a minimum of $2, and $2 times 300 shares, that's $600, which is not too shabby.
Yeah.
And Tesla moves so quickly when it gets moving that to grab $2 is nothing. It's a beautiful trading vehicle.
Yes, I mean, from this point here at 290, we're already at 283, 284. Yeah, that's 6 points right there. That's very nice. And you know, a 1, 2, 3 top, and you can target that low, and you're out.
You got it.
Okay.
Don't even have to be greedy, because we're expecting to get to this low, but you don't have to, because we can bounce in here, come back up here before it does that. So whenever we get to a previous low support area, they're going to bounce it more than likely, and before they drop it, because there are lots of people sitting in this area with their stops, so they can come back up and take them and then drop it.
If you go to the 1 minute chart, you can show using a trend line, a demand trend line break to enter the trade at various locations on the 1 minute chart. You're going to have to shrink the chart a little bit.
Yeah.
To grab a, yeah. If you
So-
draw,
So from this
yeah.
point up here, you could have
Yeah.
entered by using
yeah,
that I'm doing it the wrong way again.
there you go.
Yeah, so we would be looking at this low to the current low over here. So again, that's using that trend line like that. So Omar, what you were referring to before, the other trend line would be, let's get rid of that, sorry, would be this one where you would draw one like that.
Yeah, closer to the price.
Yeah, you could do that, certainly. And once you break it, that's legit,
Yeah, but the trend have to be in motion though, and that's
Yes.
yeah. When the trend is in motion, then
I mean, there are a lot of traders out there doing trend lines like that, right?
yeah, it works. It works well because if you notice several points down, you would have had, if you draw the demand trend line there, it would have worked.
Yes. And a lot of traders do this, and then when price breaks above, they're catching that move up as well, right? So that works quite well also. So again, there are many ways to skin the cat.
If you happen to be plotting MACD, another trick is regardless of what trend line strategy you're following, let's suppose we're looking to go short, then I would be looking at MACD to be punching down through its trigger line to confirm the trade. So that's just another trick that I keep a religious eye on MACD to tell me exactly when to enter the trade.
Yes. different
So this is a
ammunition to execute.
You get a bounce here. If you get a bounce here, you could always jump in. We've got a little gap right there. This is just a regular gap. We've touched it once. We could come back again. I mean, you could always jump in at this point to come down and continue down, but we're already gone 1, 2. And we could just gyrate here for a little bit before we do that drop. So it's always best if you can catch it in the first one.
Lennox, I always talk about timing. If you look on the 5 minute and look at what point in time the move started.
1:30 here.
Well, if you mark off 2 o'clock.
So the 2 o'clock candle was here.
You're on the 5?
On the 5 minute, yes. Of Tesla.
Oh, it's Tesla.
Which one do you want me to be looking at?
Oh, sorry. It's the NAS there.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's very similar though.
Oh yeah, they're very similar. Yeah, they would be.
Yeah.
So the 2 o'clock candle is here.
Yeah. So it's like.
So just after the breach of the Tom DeMark trend line.
Yeah. So it's like an additional confirmation too, but that you might be having momentum.
Coming into this 2 o'clock algo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite interesting, eh?
And then
so lots of talk here, not much trading going on, eh?
Yeah, well, there has been a lot of moves. There has been a lot of
lots of opportunities.
Yeah, since the morning, and I think sometimes when you have so many moves, you have a lot of chopping up taking place afterwards, meaning fourth wave. So you have to be so careful after getting such nice moves.
Yeah, this morning, this big drop. I mean that kind of took the steam out of the market right after that. So now we chop up and down in this wave, and once you are, again, if you if you're aware of the structure and you see that, then you know you're going to be chopping up and down for a while before you can get out of there. And now we're finally starting to break out of it. Now we've breached the lows. So we'd be looking now for a turnaround to take us back up, because all the liquidity is sitting up here now, because these guys were not taken out.
Yeah.
These guys were not taken out. So, and even these guys weren't taken out, interestingly. So lots of liquidity sitting here. So we kind of have an idea at the end of the day today that more than likely price will be pushing back to the upside.
Yeah. That's a beautiful downtrend continuation pattern. Like
Yes.
the downtrend there on the 5-minute starting at the top.
Yes.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Then that wave 3 is leg 1. And then wave 4 is price equilibrium or consolidation. And then the drop out of wave 4 is the same distance as leg 1. So it's leg 1, wave 4, leg 2 down. Leg 2 is usually the same distance as leg 1. But in an Elliott wave terminology, there's a 1, 2, 3 at the top, followed by wave 3 down, then wave 4, and then wave 5 down. Beautiful.
That's correct.
Absolutely beautiful.
So now we know that we are ready, very close to getting a turnaround. So what we want to find out at this point is, where are we on the higher time frame? This is very important, because if we know that we're in a gap, an order block or something like that, or a low, a swing low, then this could be a possible turnaround at this point. So the only way to find out is to go higher, of course, and probably 1 hour time frame maybe. Still can't see anything on that time frame. So I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff off the chart. Okay, so 4 hour time frame. Okay, maybe, yeah. So right now we're just kind of in limbo. We had this wick over here. So what does ICT say? A wick is a gap. So if that's a gap, let me see if I can mark it. Then if I bring this all the way across, we're at the midpoint of that gap. So it's a possible turnaround point. So it's not a wick, it's a tail, right, George? The tail of that candle has put us down into the midpoint area, because we don't have anything else to gauge with.
Well, you do have some stuff over to the left still.
Yes, but this wick or this tail has mitigated all that stuff. So it's no longer really in force. So
it can't go down any further?
Down below?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I'm not sure what you're saying on that.
Okay, so this tail right here.
Price could go lower.
Oh, certainly price could certainly go lower. Yes, they could come and take this low out.
And there's another low.
And there's another low here. Yeah.
So below that is still
it's possible that we could take this low out, but what I'm saying is that this tail of this candle here, we're at the center point of it right now, approximately. So we could see a turnaround at this point.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yep.
Or it could be a bounce to come back down and take out that one too.
It's possible. I mean, for all intents and purposes, we could be at the bottom, or we could see a further drop to take out this low.
Yeah, well, this is where
this one.
Wait for a 1, 2, 3 for confirmation. With a change of character going on.
Which will it be is the question now, right? So if we can look at our overall structure from this standpoint, we've got a 1, 2, and then we drop to this level, and then we're bouncing up and down in here, and now we drop through. Is there enough oomph there to cause this to turn around at this point now, or does it still have more further weakness to go? So the only way to find out is to continue going down the time frames and following along.
Yeah.
On this last leg, and this 1, 2, 3, and this drop, the same thing we just did on the bigger scale, It's exactly the same thing we're doing in this leg. Right? This is the same pattern.
But
And as we drop down a little further.
But normally we start looking at monthly, weekly, daily, 4-hour to see how things have been progressing.
Same pattern, right? Okay,
Yep.
And then we go to the 15, and it's the same pattern again, same thing, the same 1, 2, 3, drop down, drop. So as we come down, we want to look at just this leg now. So 5 minute, we want to just look at this last leg, and it's the same pattern again as the bigger picture. This same pattern is the same pattern in here, drop. So we could just be doing this, and then we could drop one more time, see? So we could certainly take out that lower, right?
Right.
This one here.
And they might bounce there and get a lot of persons buying and then take
yes.
out, and then take out those stops.
Yes, they can induce buyers here and then drop it back down again. So it looks like that's possibility of what they're doing at this point. So if I come back down to the 1 minute time frame, so there is the overall. So we got our 1, 2 up here. We've come all the way down, and now we're kind of chopping. So are we done? We do have a sweep here. We have a 1, 2. We could trade that up, but maybe we won't get very far.
Yeah, it could be a nice trade up, but you have to be so careful that because it's starting to look like a fourth wave there already.
So it looks pretty good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inside we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an extra. So this could be a bottom.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But
got a nice 1, 2. So let's see if I can get a trade in on this. So just see how far up we can go. If I can get a pushback, pull back into this gap.
You can always scalp in there too.
Yeah, this is a quick scalp. Let's see if I can get a pull back into this gap right here.
Lennox, is there a saying that you shouldn't predict the market, but just follow what it's?
Yes, best to just follow along. But yeah, I mean, you have to have some idea of where, of where it's going. So there's my pullback. So I would take that trade right there. Could be long.
You want to be reactive to the market, Omar, as opposed to try to predict where it's going. Because if you're reactive, and it's just you might lose a couple of pips depending on your reaction time. But if you try to predict it, then it can go awry though, and entirely. So
yeah, so kind of go with the flow, as it were, right?
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
So I'm putting my stop just below this candle, because if I'm wrong and they're going to come down, I don't want my stop way down here. I want my stop right below this number 3 point. So I've got my number 1 point, my number 2 point, my number 3 point. I don't want my stop to be a number 1, because if I'm wrong, they're going to come down. And if they take out number 3, it's possible number 1 is going to be taken because it's so close to it. So keep my stop rather tight there, and then look for a breach of that high and a move out. So
starting to look like a fourth wave though.
yeah, and you can tell sometimes, because if they take a while to get out of here.
Yeah.
Usually the move, if we're leaving this area, they're going to move out of here quickly, rather than linger in here. They start staying in here for too long. We have a 7 candle rule from the number 3 point. If we count 7 candles, and you haven't gotten above number 2, the number 2 point. So we got a number 1 point, a number 2 point, a number 3 point. If we have 7 candles after this and we haven't crossed above our number 2 point, it might be time to exit that.
when they normally after they give you so much profit coming down, they want to take it all back in a fourth wave.
Yes.
They have you buying and selling, and then they get confused. but your structured Lennox really really helps.
Good.
Because
So I'm going to take a partial because I'm not trusting them here. Okay, my keyboard's not working. I don't know why. Okay, why is my keyboard not working? It's not working at all. That's not good.
Is it the num lock is on or off?
I'm not sure.
You can check on the num lock and see what's happening.
I just wiggled the okay, so that's a nice push. So it's a good spot to take a partial anyways at that point. Just a quick partial there. And then I can move my stop up a little tighter underneath that candle right there. So moving my stop underneath this candle here is like a 1, 2, 3 there. And I'm getting another move out. So I've got a larger 1, 2, 3 here, and then I get a smaller 1, 2, 3 here. And if I were on the seconds chart, you would be able to see that quite pronounced. So yeah, if I use the seconds chart, you see this pattern. I'll just bring a seconds chart over, and you can see. Let me just move this over a little bit more. So this low is here, and then the big move up. It's that move, and then we get another one and another one. So that's that move there, and then this move here. So if we're correct, we would want to see price continue taking out this high. It's like we did here. If we're wrong, we'll come down and take out this low, and that will take me out of the trade for a small loss there. I could have gone into positive. I could have put it at break even, you know, don't have to take a loss at all on that, but you know, it's up to you. It's a bit tight. I wanted to.
If I drew my Tom DeMark line on there, it looks like it's trying to break lower at this point. It's not guaranteed. It's going up and down. But
yeah, you can see that we're sort of in that. You can see we're in that range.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, will it break up and come back up to here? It's possible. They haven't taken this high out yet at this point, so that would be good if they took that high out, because again, there are lots of stops here, so that move would be good. So I could move my stop now into a positive or even break even, but I'd like to see them go above the high first, if at all possible. But yeah, you could just quickly scalp, you know, little moves like that. I'm looking for a bigger move, of course. I'm looking for a bigger push to the upside here, but we might not get it at all. They can just come right down. So I'm still within, so remember that little rule, I'm still within this area. And 7 candles from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've already hit 7 candles, so really I should be closing this trade.
Yeah.
if I was following.
I would have been closing the trade.
If I'm following that that rule. And it's not even a rule per se, it's a guideline type of thing, right? So 7 candles after number 3 point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I haven't broken out above my number 2 point. So really, I should be exiting this trade.
Yeah, I close the trade, win, lose, or whatever. But it's usually for me, it's better than my stop, which is below point number 1.
So that took me out on the stop for a small loss, but I could have exited for profit. I could have moved it to break even. So I have those options, right? So you can see this move is not a valid 1, 2, 3 bottom that's going to take us out. It's
Right.
too choppy, and they're more than likely looking to come down and take all these guys out and continue down. So it's more of a fourth wave, A, B, C, D, E type thing.
Yeah, and in
Without-
this case, the Tom DeMark bottom line did show that that was the case.
So that's your Tom DeMark there, and that we're breaking that low, that diagonal to the downside. So that would be a sell. So is it worthwhile to sell at this point? Maybe. You know, we could go down quite a bit. We do have a 1, 2, 3 at this point now, and that could be the catalyst to bring us even further down. And there we go. So that closure below, that could be a sell right at that point. There is a 1, 2, 3 here as well. But definitely more indicative of a fourth wave chop. This drop into that and gives us the A, the B, the C, the D, the E leg, and then we get a 1, 2, and then we're dropping down. So this is a picture of a typical fourth wave.
Peter, how many candles back before it starts changing the Tom DeMark lines? Because as Lennox was talking about, the original breakage we've had of the Tom DeMark lines, we could have drawn another one that would show the breakdown to the bottom side.
The question is how many candles back?
Yeah, you know, I have a program that draws the Tom DeMark line, and it shows that the break would be to the downside, but when would you redraw your top and bottom lines? How many candles?
How many can't? Yeah, that's a tough one. Because
Well,
you can have, way back here.
Yeah, Peter might know the answer to that.
You know what I mean? This is the last one here on the top, so that's quite a ways back.
Yeah.
A lot of candles back, right? And this one here, actually, I could have drawn one here. You see on this one, Omar, this is like a typical trend line here.
The
That
steeper one going at the bottom going up is where mine was drawn, and that was when I gave you warning that we were going down because it broke that lower line that you just talked about.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm on Bitcoin right now, and you see what Bitcoin has done, similar to the NAS.
Very similar.
We've come down, and very choppy. We drop, and then we're doing that A, B, C, D, E type movement.
Right.
And now we're breaking to the downside through it. And there's the Tom DeMark line. And so that, again, could be a sell right at that point. But I would prefer to see a retrace, because they can retrace all the way back up here. If we got that would be really nice. Rather than jumping in at this, yes, we've broken that trend line. You could jump in here, but they could still retrace on you.
Right.
So when you jump in at this point, where do you put your stop? It would be the question, right? And I guess the previous candle would be fine, but you still take a risk because there's a gap there, and price could come back into that gap and take you out.
Well, we would be using the 1, 2, 3, so our 1, 2, 3 logic would be apropos in this point.
Yes, and I'm, at this point, we've kind of had 1, 2, 3 like here, and it's very quick.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's very quick. So
yeah.
We're not going to get much retrace. I didn't think so. And that's a straight down. So what I'm saying is, if you were to get in on the closure, one candle would be sufficient for a stop.
Yeah, see, for me, that's sort of like an algo setup going down. And so my point number one would be the stop, which is the high point, the prior high point. You look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 candles back. I can't tell which is the highest.
So the NAS and Bitcoin are doing a similar thing at this moment in time. So we're getting that, and you see they did it here again. That same pattern.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at comparing the two, I see that we have divergence of the Bitcoin to the NASDAQ on those two higher points. The highest point on the right to the prior high point on the going back about, I guess, 10 or 12 dozen candles. That goes, you're slanting up, and on NASDAQ we're slanting down. We're almost flat, really. But now you're getting some serious fair value gaps in there on the NAS 1 minute. So it represents another point where we're trying to make a turnaround.
You've got a note in the room there, George, about Tom DeMark indicator video, but I don't see a video.
Oh, I didn't put the video in the room?
I don't know. I'm just seeing text. I don't see anything. So I don't know if anybody else is seeing a video there.
Yeah, I thought I grabbed the link. Maybe the link is still in my.
Has anybody seen the link? Or I've been having so many problems with the Skype for recently. I'm not sure. Sometimes I don't get something that's posted in there.
Well, no, you're probably correct in what you're.
All right, so Bitcoin, NASDAQ doing a similar thing. Omar, did you want to look at the GBP, JPY or anything like that? I know a lot of people are look at it doing the same thing here as well.
Yeah, I think I had the link, didn't copy in. I still had it in my buffer.
Okay.
We'll see if this works.
Yeah, look at.
I just got back to the computer. Were you calling me before?
Yeah, just wondering if you wanted to look at GBP, JPY. It's doing the similar thing as NASDAQ and. So you see how they're doing the same 1, 2, 3 top down, and then they chop it up and down, and then they drop it through. So it's the same on the 1 minute time frame. So if we go higher, you can see that same type of drop. So we got quite a large 1, 2, 3 top here.
That's the GB. That's Bitcoin. I'm not seeing
GBP, JPY.
Oh. It's very fine on my end. Oh yes, I'm seeing it now. Yes.
I'm on the 5, then 15. So again, the pattern is always consistent. Big drop. They chop it all up, and then they drop it through.
Lennox, in this case, it took 11 candles to redraw my bottom Tom DeMark line, and it took it way over. I have to squish my thing down to see how far over it went.
And there you have divergence, Euro JPY and Euro GBP.
It always
GBP
does.
JPY. So there is some divergence there. You just look at both of them here. So there's Euro JPY on the left and GBP JPY on the right. If I go to the 15-minute time frame, which is what I'm on, you see we have divergence. This candle. So right now the GBP JPY is a little weaker because we've taken out that low, but this low was lower on the Euro JPY. So they both are basically about the same at this point, right?
And divergence at the top as well. But did you point out that one?
This is a tie here, but it's set definite divergence there. And then this 1, 2, 3 here was much higher. There's quite a bit of divergence going on in here. They really mess you up. You need to be watching both. You have to be watching both. Which one do you want to trade, right? Which one looks the best? And when you're at the top here, this one, the Euro JPY, was a better looking setup.
If I might,
based on our structure.
If I might add a note or a point to that, it happens a lot. The divergence happens a lot with the FX pairs.
Yes.
And like the closer ones, like say you're looking at GBP New Zealand, we also need to look at Euro New Zealand. The pound Aussie, the Euro Aussie,
yes,
put them together. And the same thing for gold, I've noticed. So if you're looking at gold, not just the US quoted gold, but GBP and Euro, gold, GBP.
Will have divergence, yes.
Yeah, they have divergence between them.
Yeah, they're always trying to mess you up.
Yeah, and the divergence is on price, and it can be on say MACD or RSI or whichever indicators people use.
So they're Bitcoin, they're heading down to take out the lows down here. So that's a ways down. Just move this line down here. So they're looking to take that low out on the hourly. So yesterday I tried to do a counter trend trade in here, even though I knew that this move could be short-lived. I tried to do a counter in here and got caught. And it's a fourth wave, and so you can get chopped up in here, and that's what happened to me. It was just nasty. So looking for them to see how the structure holds. You know, we should take out that low. Now, it doesn't mean that they have to take out that low. That would just be the expectation that they would take out that low. We would expect them to take that low, but it doesn't mean that they have to. That's where we can get that divergence where they don't go and take that low out. Vic, I dropped a note in your chat for you if you want to take a boo, if you're there.
Who are you chatting to, Lennox?
I was just hailing Vic there. I left a note for him in his chat. I don't know if he's there.
Tesla's not feeling very well.
No, I bet NVDA and Tesla. Everything seems to be down today, of course, because the market's everything is red. So Tesla on the hourly, yeah, still going down. So they're looking to take out that low. And NVIDIA, yeah, they've gone way below now. So yesterday when we were looking at this, it was typical fourth wave, but would they drop through and give us the fifth wave? If they had good news, they could have popped. They did briefly, but that was the extent of it.
I just got a second down move of the Tom DeMark trend line crossing to the downside, I should say.
Which time frame, George?
1 minute, NAS.
So this line is no longer valid. I'd have to find something over to the left to hook up to this side. At this level, there isn't anything on the 1 minute. We're in no man's land right now. So the only time frame to help us is the 4 hour. So we are coming down to take out that low on the 4 hour. So we're going right through that wick, that tail of that candle. So they're gunning for the lows here to take out that. Will they take out the low? That's a possibility as well. So let's take a look at the daily. That might help them. So on the daily, this is the low, and you remember the other day when we were looking at this, I was saying that if they breach this low, it's not so great because it's kind of messing up what I thought we were having here, a nice move to take us out. But once they breach this level, let me do that again. Once they breach this level, that kind of messes everything up. I would have thought we can continue this way, but now it's looking so choppy. So we could be getting this kind of chop. They could take out this low, and then they could go back up again, come back down again. Then we go. That's a pause. So that would give us our number 3 point because we're in this big huge move up. And then this could be our A, and this could be our B, and our C leg takes out the A, and then we could get a D coming back up. So, and finally an E. So essentially we're doing this 1, 2, 3, and we're doing the A, B, C, D, E, and then we would look for that move out, which is
Lennox, right now I have the S&P is down 1.29% from yesterday's close. The NASDAQ is down 2.22% from yesterday's close, and the Dow is down 0.38%. So boy, we've had some dramatic moves down for a few days.
Yes, we have.
The VIX is right now standing at 20.93, which is generally anything above 20, it's starting to show good volatility. It's not extreme volatility anywhere near that, but it means stronger volatility.
We're getting very close to that low. Will they take it? It looks very strong and likely that we're going to take that low.
I put
Another time. Okay, we're 20 minutes after the hour, into the last hour.
I put a comment in chat there for the price for Tesla.
Now on my 1 minute NASDAQ, it had broken below the lower Tom DeMark trend line, but it's now drawn another one and below that, and it's still going lower. So
Tesla, you're referring to on the daily? November 20, this low here.
November 5th, I think. Yep.
Yeah. This is October here, actually. So this is November 5th. There's a lower low in October on the 23rd.
There's a big gap there, though, too, right?
Yeah, there's a big gap. So at
Going
this
down
point,
to close that big gap, huh? We do it.
I'm looking at this, and you know, everything looks a bit nasty and so forth. But are we really, you know, is this really you know, a collapse that's going to take all these lows out? That would be quite nasty. We do have a 1, 2, 3 top, so that says a lot right there, right? But we also have a 1, 2, 3 bottom. And this whole thing could be a 1, 2, 3 bottom right there. So if this is a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and we've come up to this area, and we're dropping, it's more than likely we're going to continue bouncing and taking out these highs. We should get a bounce off maybe this area. I wouldn't want to see them coming into this section. That's not good. If we get in here, then we could be in trouble. We're very close to it now. We'd like to see a bounce here to continue our structure. We don't want to really come below this level. So will that occur? I need to take a look at it from the monthly point of view, because the monthly might give us a lot more. Okay, so there it is on the monthly. Beautiful. So clean move down, and this is interesting. This is like a fourth wave here, and then we get 1, 2, 1, 2 again, and 1, 2, and so very choppy. We took out that high. We did not close above it. Interesting. Very interesting. So we took out this high, we closed above it. Now we're retracing back in. So I'm still looking. I'm an optimist. I don't see negativity to take out these lows. It's possible, but if we're optimistic, we have to look at a possible bounce in this area. There's a order block there. We could get a bounce here to continue. But if we're pessimistic, if we're not seeing the bigger picture that Musk and Elon are going to turn the economy around and so forth, then yeah, this is totally possible.
He's going to have to put his chainsaw away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nasty looking candle right here. It's one of the biggest candles we've ever had red on the chart, right? So it's quite a drop from 400 to 282. So for most of the smart traders out there, this is buying opportunity.
I put my 1 minute NASDAQ, no, a 4 hour, sorry. I put the 4 hour NASDAQ showing the Tom DeMark trend lines. And you can see that we've broken them and we're decidedly below the point. As a matter of fact, you look at that, the dashed red line that price has just launched through says it's reached the target for the bottom Tom DeMark trend line.
Yes. And this is NVDA. Oh, this is the NASDAQ. Sorry.
This is the NAS.
Yeah. So again, everything is pointing to that we're very close to a bottom on this move here. So I would, being an optimist, like I say, I would be looking for a turnaround. So we're coming into the last half hour pretty quick here. this, looking down on the daily. So looking at this gap right here as a possible turnaround point for this. I can see that we have 5 waves here. So what I'm looking at here is that this move up gave us A, B, C, D, and this is an E leg, which consists of 5 waves, and we should be turning around in this area and bouncing again. So this is a good buying opportunity for Tesla. Maybe as low as 250 perhaps is possible. We could just spike below into 250 maybe, but eventually bounce.
On that H4 chart I put in the room, price came down to the January 27th of this year low.
So are we pessimists or optimists?
In regard to what? Turnaround?
To the markets. To the markets. If we're positive about things, we know we want to see the price go up.
Long term or what?
Yeah, long term. Yeah.
I'm optimistic.
Long term, I think we're going to be going down a little bit longer. We could be going down another month.
I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, the thing is, we'll make our money going up or down because we're on a 1-minute chart. But
yeah, always opportunities when you're down at this level.
Going on the weekly chart.
Here's another nice setup on the. We've come very close to that low, and we've got a nice 1, 2, 3 forming. We have broken previous. We've closed above. We've swept. So this is a nice looking setup, a good opportunity for a buy without too much risk at this point. Let me just see if I can get a little bit back move. And maybe we can touch that gap. We haven't touched the gap yet, interestingly. Here we go. So is that a buy opportunity? Maybe, maybe not. They're coming down quite a bit.
The buy opportunity yet, from what I'm.
My stop would have been right below this blue candle. But they've taken out that gap. We can get that gap back. This is interesting here. They might want to take that low out one more time here. It was very choppy in here. So lots of this. So they might be, looking to take out that low, yeah. So it was looking pretty good. It was almost. We had a little bit of a sweep, pull back. It looked pretty good, but yeah, you just gotta.
I just put my 15-minute NASDAQ in the room, and the Tom DeMark lines are still saying we're in a going down.
Yeah, this was a close one because we did have a 1, 2, 3. They chopped it through. They dropped it. It looked like we could be, but we're so close to that low. It'll be weird for them to come that close and not take it. So remember that low is from the 4-hour time frame. So we're right on it, on that 4-hour low now, right there. So the next low is that low point over here, which.
Lennox, if you look at that 15-minute NASDAQ chart, we actually have a 15-minute algo going down.
Oh, big time. Yeah, from the 2 o'clock
yeah.
tick,
Oh, yeah.
that was a sell from up there all the way down. So we've just ticked through that low, getting a little bit of a bounce, but I would think that we would go down one more time here.
I mean, this was a classic 15-minute algo.
Yes.
And worth every penny of it too. Boy, that'd be a nice little run. I rarely look at 15-minute algos, but boy.
Don't know if Vic is hearing me. Vic, are you available?
You're sneaking a chart in the room, Lennox?
No, this is just my second chart I was just looking at.
Oh, whoa.
We've got 1, 2, 3, one more drop here to come. This might put us up to the bottom, and then I'd be looking for the move back out and up.
Yeah, what's interesting, I have both the H4 and the M15 chart in the room, and both of them show similar Tom DeMark targets being hit. I think it's on the same level. $696.
So interestingly, Bitcoin 4-hour is also close to its low. And do we have a low to the left anywhere? Not really.
Wow.
That's, yeah. So I have to go to the daily to see to the left on Bitcoin. And you can see that we're right into this gap at this point. So I could, let me just mark that gap on the 4-hour. Bring it across. So we're right into that gap there. We're past the midpoint, looking to take out the low. Interesting. I'm going to get rid of the Tom DeMark lines off here for now. I'm not sure where those are from, the 1 minute from yesterday or something. So we're quite a ways down in that gap. So is that sufficient for them to turn this around at this point, or do we go further down, right? So,
I can't tell yet, to tell you the truth. It's,
so just like we looked at Tesla, it's a similar pattern, right? We've got our 1, 2, or 1, 2, and then this move up, and we chop up and down, and now we're in this leg to the downside. So I would expect one of these gaps to hold, either the first one or the second one on the weekly here, and we should continue the move back to the upside. If it does not, if it cuts through, then we're in trouble, right? We're going to be coming down into this area here, which is not so good, and we could see Bitcoin back down into 60,000, 65,000 area, which is not so great. But I mean, it's great for buying opportunity anyways for people to buy, but not so great for the overall market to see a big drop like that.
yeah.
But this certainly is a fourth wave type construct, and we should bounce out of here, I would think, and continue. I'm optimistic for Bitcoin. I thought perhaps this would be a shallower move, and we would continue pushing out of here, but we're going a lot lower. Quite the drop here. So we've got one little leg to stand on there, one right in the middle of the first gap, and we have one little last support level right there. So can we stay we're certainly going to go through that and then look to take out that low as well. So, and my line is not even correct. Right there we go. So that will give us our structure again: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take out that low, and possibly take out the bottom of the gap. We could just get a wick here or a tail here that could give us a move back up. So back down 30 minute, still dropping. 15 minute, still dropping. So that was our last the mark line there, and just been down. So 1, 2.
Thanks. I put the
So this is a sell on Bitcoin.
Bitcoin in the room.
I would sell Bitcoin right here, right now, at that point. I'm taking that sell because we've got a 1, 2, and this move, another push up, and we should continue down, taking out this low at this point. So where would I put my stop? I'm going to draw down a little bit right now, but that's okay. So my stop would be above the high here. The candle that's making this gap. So let's see if we can get a quick drop down to take out these lows. And NASDAQ is doing similar. We should see a drop on NASDAQ. It'd be very mean and nasty if they came up and took this high, but they can. But there is an order block here, so we should hold. We should bounce off that to the downside here.
I put some of my Bitcoin charts in the room showing the time to mark lines. The last one is a 50.
That's mean. So they did do what I didn't want them to do. Interesting. So they came up and just took that by a tick. Isn't that nice and mean of them to do that? So that's how they like to play. So either they're just doing that to be mean, and they're going to continue going down, or we're turning around to go up, which I don't think we are. So that was just a sweep of those guys in here, I would think at that point. I'll try the sell again. Now my stop can be even tighter, a little tighter than before. So let's see if I can make that back. Now, they shouldn't go back up another time, but they can, of course. This is where we have a 1, 2, and they come into that area like that. Even though we have an order block there, and they wick it just to take these guys out, myself included, right? So are they done? And can we just go now, or do they go one more time to take them one more time and then go? I'd like to just see them drop it now. The NAS is doing what I'm expecting. Look at that. They're going back up to take these guys out. That's so mean.
I'm expecting this pullback to be, if any pullback here is for them to continue up.
They shouldn't be doing that, but that's totally possible. NASDAQ is dropping. That's what I was expecting on the NAS. So Bitcoin, they shouldn't be doing what they're doing, but they're doing it. So they're not giving me that fifth leg, obviously here, because they've gone above this area. So that's, they can still come down, but it's very odd that they've gone up this high into that. So my structure has been violated by this move to the upside here. And I would have thought they would have done the same movement as the NASDAQ was doing. So it would have been a better play to have jumped into the NAS at this point rather than Bitcoin, because I'm looking for the same movement down. You see, NASDAQ has done exactly what I'm expecting, and Bitcoin has violated my expectations. Interesting. So if this is the bottom for Bitcoin, then a pullback here after we breached these levels now. We've got a closure above here. So pullback would present a buy now rather than a sell. So that was an interesting little move there. So NAS has broken the low. So now I'd be looking for a turnaround for the NAS. So we've broken through that support, that low on the left. We've got our structure. So this is a much nicer looking chart than the Bitcoin is, right?
I see it trying to turn around, but I don't have something that I would consider to be valid yet.
Yeah, we could still drop it one more time here. They could still drop it down one more time, so I'll have to be a little careful still.
I'm talking about the 1 minute chart.
Well, you know that guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a little hummingbird
It's a female hummer.
come to visit the flower.
That's her tongue sticking out there, Lennox. The proboscis.
Yeah, they come.
That white thing that's coming out of the
Yes.
That's her
yes.
tongue.
Yeah, they come to visit these flowers of ours. They're quite a
flowers, and it grabs onto the nectar, and she can pull it back to her mouth of course.
There we go. We are going a lot lower. So they're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, and I'm looking for a turnaround. So we've got about 7 minutes before macro time here. So I need to make those losses back that I just had on Bitcoin. I'm very perturbed by that move they did. That was very nasty of them. I wasn't expecting them to do that on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin might be leading the pack in turning around first. Because they didn't give us that fifth wave. So can we get a turnaround here on a NAS? So I'd like to see them break this high and give us that move, right? So we could be getting close to a turnaround. So we know where all the liquidity is sitting right now, right? All the liquidity is sitting above these highs. So we could see price moving back up near the close here.
Well, there's actually a lot of strength below. I've got stuff all the way. How far down do I have?
I might take this low again. Not out of the woods yet. Possible they take that low one more time.
We're coming into diminished areas, but there's still a lot of activity I have here looking at my active trader. See, I think this is what I call playing games with us, trying to suck more people in, and you have a huge consolidation of big candles now.
Yeah, they're going to take that low one more time.
When?
Yep. Yes, sir, Bob. All right, we're still looking for a breach of the highs here. So to be patient, you can wait for the breach of that high. And if we get that, we've got another 5 minutes before macro time. So if they're going down a little further. Looking for a breach of that high there. In Bitcoin, I'm looking for a retrace of the current move. So can I get a retrace back? We have one gap there, but that was mitigated. I do have a gap on this side, so we could come back into that as a buy opportunity on Bitcoin. Can we come all the way back though, is the question. That's a different shot. Oh, it didn't. Boy, it's tough to catch them, and it's very dark in my garden sometimes.
I think she's probably brown. However, I see that patch of
red.
on her.
Magenta.
That might be an Anna.
Isn't that the male one, George? With the magenta chest, neck.
It was magenta.
It's a kind of a magenta, red, pinky. Yeah, maroon. I don't know what.
Not that good on humming.
Beautiful colors.
We have one in the east, and that's it.
Beautiful colors, though. There we go. Get that drop right into that. So I'm going to take another stab at the Bitcoin here for a buy. We come back into that area, and I'll place my stop below the low here and see if I can survive this time, this move back out. And the NAS should be turning as well. So I'm getting a nice move up already, just on that little move. See if we can get a bigger bounce. Might go a little lower here. Okay, so that's a nice move. So I'm going to just take a quick partial just to get a little bit of my losses back and then let the rest go. I can always add some more if I get another pullback. Cool.
I just put a 5-minute Heikin-Ashi in the room, and I wanted to point out a dotted blue line on there is simply an 8 SMA, moving average. And boy, it is telling you that you could have started anywhere near the top where I drew my 1-2 and just rode that thing down for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Getting a nice push out on Bitcoin here. Now I have a choice. I can take some profit there at the top, which I might just do, and then they might pull back, or they're going to do it before I take the profit. Let's see. I'd like to see them go above that high first. Yeah, there we go. So I can close it there, and let's see if we get I'm getting a gap. So now I can get, I'm just trying to make my losses back at this point, but let's see if I can get a retrace back into this gap. I can buy some more and continue the push to the upside. Now the NAS is getting ready for a buy. We're at 10 minutes too, so we're right there. So that was a buy opportunity right there on that tail, right? So we could see a big push out of here for the NAS. See if we can drop back into this gap one more time. I'm being really picky here, but let's see if we drop back into this gap one more time. We might not.
We are trying to go up now.
That might have been the tail end of that move. And Bitcoin might not even give me a retrace at all, so I didn't have to exit. Yeah, that was probably a mistake exiting my Bitcoin.
The movement up on the NAS is looking very, very good right now.
Yeah, no retrace here.
My next candle could be a positive one on the Heiken-Nashi. No, not quite yet.
Okay, I'll take that as my last chance for a retrace on a NAS. Let's see if we can get out of there now. And my stop will just be right under the gap. Can we get out of here? So they did come back in a little bit.
We're trying the same thing because I'm seeing some hesitation in there.
Need a big push out now.
That's what we need.
So we did close above that previous high.
Didn't get what I wanted on the last 1 minute candle. Let's see what this one does.
No big pullback on the Bitcoin. I thought we'd get a reasonable pullback after breaking this high. We would get a little bit of a pullback in, but they said nope, we're not coming back at all. See ya. So I didn't have to exit. So this was perfect. I used the gap from this side, which becomes an inverted gap right here. So this becomes an inverted gap. I use that inverted gap as my entry. There's also a regular gap, right? A fair value gap there that it came right back into and obeyed.
Okay, my Tom DeMark says that if this closes in the down position on the 1 minute candle, it says sayonara, which would fool me no end.
Nas playing games in there, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
Nope, there it is.
Yeah, so they took out the low again. Wow, yep. That's very interesting. Wouldn't have thought they would do that one more time. But
you just reached the Tom DeMark
so
target.
They're going quite a ways below this. You think that would have been sufficient there because we did do this movement and they did come down. It looked like we were done. But no, they're saying, nope, this is our number 3, essentially. Yep. And so 1, 2, 3.
It never wavered. It still says we're in a down position.
Yeah. So
If you
are they
look at
looking?
if you look at the Mag 7, all those stocks are doing horrible right now. So that gives you some type of
so they're
indication.
still I'm looking for a bounce here, but at these levels, but they're not bouncing it. So they're gunning for these lows here at this point. Interestingly, so that's where I guess there must be lots of liquidity sitting there for them to be going down there. That's the last line of defense. We've gone through this one, so all the liquidity that was sitting here. I mean, this is a long time ago, right? I'm on the 4 hour, and this is on the 24th of February. So who's sitting here except for the big banks, right? And then the big boys over here again with liquidity. So that's where they're going. Interestingly, so there must be money there for them to want to be going down there, right?
That's for sure.
So quite interesting. I thought this would be sufficient for them here to take that, but they've gone. I mean, we could still just get a tail here, We could still get a tail, and we could push back up. Certainly, that can happen without them taking this low. But it's looking more like they want to take that low at this point.
They're taking it lower right now.
Yeah, we're getting right there. Interesting. I'm getting a pullback on Bitcoin, but not a big one.
I've got some pretty good fair value gaps on my 1 minute chart of NAS, but one real big one and two smaller ones.
This was a nice trick on their part because it looked like we were good. We got the sweep, and we double, come back up. We got a sweep there, pull back. Looked like we were going to go. So we're very, very sneaky on their part there.
What is amazing is my 5 minute hike in Nashi says, don't make any change. Even with that change in the 1 minute, so forget it. Wow. Didn't you say that there was a gap way to the left on the 4 hour chart? Or?
No, there's no gap. There's just a
Well, I think if Armin might have said it, there was a gap down there.
No, there's no gap there, unless it's way over to the left.
Was that was he on a 1 hour though? I forget at this point.
We just have lows over here, so you could say we have order blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, I think Armin was referring to a stop.
Hello, I was referencing the price of Tesla on November 5th.
Ah, okay.
Right.
Thank you, Armin.
Tesla is on sale. You can go back to November 5th and buy it again. It's like a time machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, it hit a high of around 485. So that's the $200 difference. So that's a big drop.
It is. Yeah, they're not turning this around at all. We were at 1 minute before the close, and they're going through the low
It's not turned
on
around.
the 4 hour. That's amazing. But if I really thought this last previous low would have held, and we would just turn around from there, but
There's the bell.
okay. So let's see what they do at the bell. Will they
See what the macro.
go through and pop, or will they just go through and continue down? This is so they've touched it.
Percentage-wise, the NAS is down 2.8%. The S&P is down 1.61%, and the Dow is down 0.5%.
We've gone through just by a little snippet there. So is that enough of a breach of that low, or are they going to go further down? It looks like we're almost done this move.
Last day of February tomorrow. Do you remember Trump quoting short-term pain for long-term gain about a week or two ago?
That's right. That's what he said.
That's what this is an example of.
Okay, so.
But it's going to matter whether or not you got in at the top of this. We're still looking for the bottom.
It's difficult to sell at these areas here because we're so close to lows. You don't really want to be selling at this point. This is where you want to be looking to be buying because we're so close to the lows. So it's a tough one.
I'm just looking to see where the heck this thing is going to turn around, to see what the actual turnaround sequence looks like.
So we'll go a few more minutes here and we'll call it a day. I have to leave you guys a little earlier today, but
okay.
Gold is also off a little bit today, 28.72.
Yeah, everything's having a struggle. So can we come back above this high? Tempting buy, but again, market's closed now, so we could see them start to slowly climb out into Asia. That's possible.
Well, Asia should be an accumulation stage at this point.
Yeah. So they took that low, but not by much, just by a couple of ticks there. That low is 543.2, and the low over here is 551.6.
Well, I'm going to take a break. I'll see you guys probably in the morning tomorrow.
All right, Armin.
Okay.
Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you too.
Okay. Have a good rest of the day.
All right. Bye, George.
Take care now.
Yeah, I have to leave too, Lennox.
All right. Everybody's dropping off like flies now. So
See you guys tomorrow.
that's a cue for me as well then. All right. So yeah, great day. Lots of interesting things. So we had lots of news there this morning.
Hang around to see where this thing actually comes out of its misery of going down.
Do we have news tomorrow morning? We have PPI tomorrow.
Yeah.
At 8:30 Eastern. So
yeah,
that might do a little move.
It'll be a little
dicey
movement tomorrow too.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we'll call it a day.
Take care, Lennox. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks everyone for dropping in. Appreciate it. And we will see you tomorrow.
Okay, take care.
Right.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you, George. Lennox. Catch you guys tomorrow.
All right, Marquis, take
Get
care.
that
Stacy,
indicator,
Omar.
Marky.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Good evening. All right,
Take
Lennon.
care, Omar.
All right, George. Take care.